Hey, Claude Code, can you install the CLI for Agent Browser? And then we'll go here and we'll just set it up that way. And so I just asked Claude Code to install exactly the application that we want, and it will go through this process. And by the end of this process, it will install it and then we can use it. Now that it's installed, I can just ask the current agent that I have to, let's say, use it. And there's a specific way that we want to use it for the automation that we want. You can use it in a regular way, which will allow Claude Code to use the browser without you seeing anything. So it happens all behind the scene. But there are a few instances where you might want to run it side by side. Now that we have a blank Claude Code session again, we're going to ask Claude Code to install a discovery stub. Can you install a discovery stub for this CLI that we have here and match the pattern that we have for some of the other skills that we already have? And then now that we've did that voice to text transcription, the one thing I'll add to that is run agent browser help. And so this will allow Claude Code to find agent browser whenever we use it in any new Claude Code session. And the other two CLIs that we installed and talked about in the previous videos use the same pattern. And this pattern is actually the canonical one that agent browser ships with in their GitHub. And that's where I kind of copied the format just to make it really easy so that anytime you have a CLI, as the versions change, all the skills and how to use the skills update with version changes. And so then the discovery stub is mainly just when to use this CLI and this skill and this tool to do what you need to do. And so here, yes, do that. So Claude Code is just asking us about a specific thing about the skill. So just use what you think is best, and that structure should be fine. And then from that, Claude Code will now install that now. So we successfully installed the stub for the skill. We're gonna start a new session and we'll now tell Claude Code to set up the agent browser for the demo. We've set up a new Claude Code session after we install that discovery stub. And now we'll tell it, use agent browser with a headed Chrome launched via CDP, and make sure you read the full bundle core loop MD file for instructions about how to use CDP. And then from that, so Claude has now opened up a new Chrome that will interact with, let's actually see it side by side. Let's tell Claude to, you open up Gmail in this Chrome browser. One of the advantages of my Gmail, and then now that we've signed in, and the benefit of using the CDP approach that we've set up just now, is that once you sign in the future, when you use CDP, and you use the same one that you set up, you don't have to re-sign in every single time. It's almost as if you set up a profile in the CDP that allows Claude Code to continually use it over time. Now, can you open up a new tab in that browser that you set up to go to chat.com? And from this, I'm gonna have Code now orchestrate what we're working on and now tell it to basically create an image. So I need your help to create a copy and paste prompt for an image generation. So if you screenshot what we're looking at, I've already selected the image. I now need you to give me a draft of what image that we can create for this request. And then once I approve it, we can place it into the browser. That one looks good. Can you now use agent browser to paste that in and submit that into ChatGPT? And then now we'll just wait for it. You'll see that Claude Code has basically automated all the things that I might do. And sometimes if it's a much more complex task, it'll be a lot harder to do, but you can see here already that it is now doing this on your behalf. Okay, now it looks like it finished and it created this image. And so we could download it, but we're gonna try and now let Claude Code do that. Can you check the browser? It is finished, and I now need you to download that and create a draft email with this image back to that original email, and then use GWS to send it after I approve of that. So now I did the voice to text, which I have a video on that as well. Just now tell Claude Code how to do this. And you can think about any example that you might have that you might do things manually. What I'm trying to show is how you might be able to automate that. And these are just small things that you can automate. When I'm building applications end to end at work or for personal, and I'm building a web app, for example, and I need to test it, need to visually see it happening, I will often have Claude Code do the really quick, easy lint type checks. But if I want to do the end-to-end test, I still need to see it in the browser, and I can use Agent Browser to do that. So I'm going to paste this in just to start that process, and I'll explain a little bit in a bit once it starts going. And then in the same way, I'm also going to paste this one here to also start this to go. Just because these two things takes a while, you can now see how they work while we kind of chat through what's happening. And here, the bottom one basically started a agent browser setup. And then you'll see here, we went back to this agent, and you'll see that it's in the checkout, and we can watch it make that purchase on our behalf so that we can basically set this up. And since I've confirmed the agent's going to click pay now. It's going to purchase this domain. In order for us to do that, we did have to do a little bit of setup where we used 1Password in the command line to allow the agent to do that. You can kind of see the Visa going through, and I'm going to handle this myself because it'll need my code. So I had to put my credit card 2FA in, but then once that was done, then the domain was completed. And with that, the agent finished buying our new domain. Hey Claude, can you help me install this, set it up so that we can use my current Gmail and GCP account with Agent Browser to set this up? And then we'll send that off, and then Claude will basically do that. And so here we'll wait again to let Claude do that. We could have technically set up a separate agent to do that in parallel. So actually, if you're setting this up, you can kind of have two agents side by side, set that up, and then you'll see here it installed that. It's now helping us set that up. And then once that sets that up for us, I'll show you what we can do, because then we can actually run this end to end. And here you'll see that the agent, because I have 1Password set up, the agent can now set this up with Agent Browser in the same way we set it up previously. And GCP is quite confusing sometimes to use. You can, hey Claude, can you use 1Password to fill that detailed in for me and automatically sign in as well? And then from that, we'll do another voice transcription there. And then Claude should be able to set that up so that we can see that side by side. So again, here in the same way, the last video, we've already set up in 1Password our 2FA. And you'll see here that the agent has already went through this. I'm just going to skip some of this stuff. And now you'll see that in as well is in our Google Cloud platform and setting up our project so we can set up the CLI tool that will allow us to use Gmail from the terminal. And this specific CLI here will just have very basic commands, but the main thing here is it'll just allow you to manage your Google Drive, Google Calendar, Google Mail, and set that up in a much more easy way for people unfamiliar with GCP or any cloud provider. Hey Claude, now that we have the CLI set up, can you use the CLI to test out this email by sending an email to that alias that we just set up? Let's send it to hello@andytran.cc from our Gmail that we just set up, and check and see if we actually got that email or not. And then from that, you can kind of now see this all works end to end. And so now, because we installed that skill that is bundled with the CLI, the tool, the skill of how to use it will now live with that tool and the CLI, and the agent can now just smoke test this end to end. And here you'll see that it got queued and it was successfully forwarded to our Gmail. And so actually this is odd. Can you use the same Agent Browser CDP headed process to create a new account and use this email now in order for us to sign up a new account here? And can you do this end to end for me? And then there will be a place where we need my phone number, and at that place, can you pause and I'll enter my phone number in and do the 2FA, and then from that you can continue and store all of our credentials in 1Password. And then from that, we'll send that off again, let that start working, and then we'll again see it working side by side. And so I'm gonna move this side by side, and then let's watch the agent do this again here. Also set this up as an alias in Gmail so we can send email on this alias, and then we can test it with Googly as well. And then now Claude will be able to send and receive emails from our custom domain, and then also be able to use our new tool and CLI to send emails on both our custom domain or just our default Gmail account. And there's a lot of other, let's say, MCPs that integrate with Gmail that you can use your Gmail for. But when you need any custom functionality and features such as this, oftentimes you might need a CLI for that. I'm not sure if they added that to the MCP. One of the reasons why a CLI can often be more powerful as well, a lot more dynamic and flexible. And here, now you'll see that Claude is setting this up with Agent Browser. This is exactly what I would have done manually in the past. And so we'll let Claude set this up as well for us so that we can use the alias. And here you'll see email that we sent here. We just sent this from our alias. We send it to our default email. And so we receive that now, and it now works end to end. And now let's test this out a little bit. With Googly, the CLI, there's another additional feature and functionality is that you can export and import specific profiles. And I've already exported and imported my other alias email. And so now we're gonna actually watch and see it send this email to your inbox. And here it is. You'll see that we responded back to that, and now you have your own custom domain. But let's do one additional test just so you can see about this as well. Let's say andytran.cc, and this time it's a different alias. And let's see what happens when we do this. And it looks like the email forwarding has worked. And we'll go back here, and now we'll see that we basically can send pretty much any alias with